Hello, my dear space lovers, stargazers, and aspiring astronauts and physicists. Welcome back to another episode of Cosmoscube. My name is Priyanka, and today we are gonna discuss about the events that will be happening in the month of March. Do you know that 1 million Earths can fit inside the sun? Are you a space lover? Do you want to know the amazing stories of space? Cosmoscube is here. Now listen to the podcast for free on Cosmoscube. Now available on Spotify. Do you know that March is my favorite month of the year? You must be thinking, why, right? Because it's my birth month, that's why March is my favorite month of the year. And also, this year and this month especially has got a lot of events that will be happening in the month of March. So March is a great month for the stargazing. So all the stargazers and explorers out there, gear up with your telescopes and binoculars to observe each and every event out there in the March night sky. Also, in today's podcast, I will be discussing about the major milestones that have been observed and have been accomplished in the month of March. In this podcast, I will be mostly stressing about the first week events of March. So, I will be doing each week events of March and of each month in the future because there are a lot of things to cover up and all of these things are important to be known, and thus I took this decision of doing it week wise so that we can explore more things and get to know about more events which are present each day in the month. Okay, talking about March has many turning points and it has all the celestial dance happening in the month. It also has the first equinox of the calendar year, and we'll also have some of the seasonal changes after this equinox phase passes away, and also you will get to explore most of the events in the northern hemisphere, and there are very few which will be present in the southern hemisphere, but still there's a great opportunity to have wonderful experience of observations in the month of March. Also, some events may require binoculars or telescope, so just dust off your equipments wherever they are present, like in your room, wherever they are lying, in your cupboards, in your rooms, under your beds. Just pull them all out, dust them off, and gear up for the observation. Also, if you don't have any equipment, don't be sad because even you have the opportunity. There are still yet many of observations and the events which are happening which can be seen through bare eyes. So no need to worry about it. Universe has a plan for everyone. It gives everyone an opportunity to observe it. Okay, explorers, are you ready to witness the events of the March? So, let's start with the first event. As always, there are many launches which are geared up in the month of March. On March 1st, we will witness the Atlas V launch. So, the Atlas V launch is an expandable launch system which was designed by Lockheed Martin. Along with Atlas V, GEOST will be launched, which is the generation of weather satellites which is operated by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. So this is basically like for the weathercasting purposes, and which will be launched by NASA, and it will be launched from Cape Canaveral. So next event, there are actually two events. Which one should I cover first? The night sky one or rocket launch? I will go with the night sky one, right? Okay, so on March 3, we will have the conjunction of Mars and Pluto. Basically, this month is like a theme for conjunctions. We can say this month is made up of lot of conjunction observations that have to be made. So basically, what is a conjunction? There are conjunction of so many planets happening each other day, right? So what are conjunctions? Conjunctions are the thing or a phenomenon which occur when two of the objects, like two of the planetary bodies, appear like they are very close to each other and they're almost moving in the same direction. So, when you will observe by your telescopes, you will see that two planets, like in this case Mars and Pluto, will be very closely present, like they will be like very near to each other for us to see. But in practical, in physical, they are not this much close. Okay, we know the distance between the planets. It's like Mars and the Pluto. It's like the fourth planet of solar system and the dwarf planet, which is like beyond Neptune. It is like beyond the, like it is too far. I can't tell in distance or the light year. So we will see this conjunction, and then it is just a it is just a perspective that those two appear very close to each other. It is because of the orbits, because of the revolutions of these planets, that during one particular period of time they come very close to each other, and we can see that these are near to each other. Thus, this conjunction will appear in this manner. Also, next event, which is a rocket launch, is of course by SpaceX. SpaceX has improved so much in the past few years, like it is tremendously making progress and just going Godspeed. I just wish that they will come up with more and more such progress in the space industry, and we will get to move to Mars as soon as possible. I am very excited to explore the universe, and I would love to go to the red planet and to live there and experience the life over there. Okay, so on March 3rd at 2:32 p.m., which is afternoon launch, we have the Falcon 9 Block 5 launch by SpaceX, which will be happening in Kennedy NC-39A. So in this one, it will be a communication satellites which will be launched in the low Earth orbit of the atmosphere. So this was another rocket launch. This was the second rocket launch in the month of March. Coming to the next day, March 4th. Again, we have one more launch happening. So the space industry is increasing widely, and as progresses are being made, all the scientists, engineers who are working like tremendously over these projects are like, it's like a hats off to them, because they are working so much to bring this industry forward, to make space exploration very convenient, and we are getting so much data and so much research is being done. I just feel like it's a tremendous task to do so, and whatever hard work they are putting into is just incredible, because this thing is gonna last for this will be forever. Like in the future generations too, these things will be remembered, and the contributions made by each person who is working in this sector will be remembered, because so many missions are going on, and I feel like somewhere we are exploring so much. Like we have explored, like we have crossed many boundaries till now. And now, as we have also launched the James Webb Space Telescope, which is an incredible engineering till now, we will gather much more information and much more research will be done with the help of James Webb Telescope. And with this, we will get to know what all more is present out there, and how much more we can get to explore and just go out and see like what is there which we don't know yet. There are many things which are present which we don't know yet. Also, some of the things are still imaginary, but we have made many of the theses and experiments, and we have come up with our results. So this exploration will prove that whatever we have imagined, whatever we have experimented, is actually present, and it actually exists in the universe out there. Okay, so coming back to the topic, on March 4th, we have a launch which is the Soyuz 2.1b, also called as frigate. So the major part of this mission will be like a OneWeb satellite constellation is gonna be launched, which was planned initially for 648 satellite constellations, and which was completed in 2022. So, the goal of this mission is to provide a global satellite internet broadband service to people present in every corner of the world, and this constellation is being deployed by the company called as OneWeb. This company OneWeb is present in the in Australia, and it has done this incredible work of launching 648 satellites, which will provide a broadband service of internet in every corner of the world. So this mission is gonna be launched. This rocket is gonna be launched from Baikonur Cosmodrome, which is a spaceport in the area of southern Kazakhstan, and this will go and sit in the lower Earth orbit. And this is a type of a communication satellite, we can say, because it will provide all the internet broadband services. Also, see, I told you, right, there are so many incredible things going on, explorations going on, and this is again one of them, where we can reach and connect each and every person now. And as of now, I don't think many of the people are facing this internet connectivity issues. Now it has become all very normalized, and the connectivities are improving day by day. So you see, there is a improvement in each and every sector going on. I wonder how it will be after like 5 or 10 years. I am sure there will be flying cars, and drones are very common now. So that will be like it will be like a our orders, like we order like Swiggy, Zomato, just like that a drone will come and deliver to us. So it will be common, I think, in like coming upcoming 2 or maybe maximum 5 years. Drones will be most common, and they will be visible in every streets of our country and our world. So similarly, I feel personally like internet connectivity has brought the world very close, and people are connecting with each other so easily, and the exchange of knowledge is being done so easily that any source of information that we want, or anything, any course, or any particular information that I want, I can just have it in just like a fraction of second. Just go there and Google. You'll get some points and you get the information. You can learn so much stuff. You can learn like each and everything present out there. So internet has provided undoubtedly many opportunities, and it has opened up tremendous amount of tech opportunities for the youth, as well as we can say like each person in the world, like everyone in the world now has an open opportunity to put off his talents, and he can make money. He can show off his talents. He can become popular, and people are really praising for the talents now. We don't know who has what talent. Some may be good at art, some may be good at dance, some may be good at music, some may be good at technology, and so many other things we have not yet explored. So all these things people are able to share in the internet through their social media accounts and all, and they're getting praised, and it gives them a kind of motivation to move further ahead in their lives, which I feel is a great thing which internet has provided the opportunity to come forward. Okay, so going down the lane of March events, on the next day, that is March 5th, we have one more conjunction, which is between the planets Venus and the dwarf planet Pluto. So on March 3rd, we will be observing the conjunction between Mars and Pluto. On March 5th, we have the conjunction of Venus and Pluto. Pluto is just partnering with each planet, I guess. Okay, so So if you miss spotting the March 3rd event, that is the conjunction between Mars and Pluto together, because the conjunction that will be happening in March will be in the early morning. So maybe in your region it will be clouded, or you are not able to wake up in early in the morning, so you just miss that event. So you don't have to worry, just calm down. You have another opportunity. You can go ahead and explore this conjunction, which will be equally beautiful as the previous one. So here's another opportunity to use a nearby planet to find faraway Pluto. So on the morning of March 5th, Venus and Pluto will be in conjunction, and you can also locate Mars nearby to these planets. It will not be too far. You will be able to locate it for sure, and just look for bright stars, bright objects. So any bright neighbors, and you can just use any of the applications, apps which are present in your Play Store. Just go and download them. You can easily locate and find a planet, and you can observe it through your telescope for a better experience. Also, we have one more event on March 5th, which is during the night time, which is the Messier Marathon. So, have you heard about the Messier Marathon? Well, this will be an opportunity to look forward. It is a beautiful thing. You will get an opportunity to see all the 110 Messier objects in the night sky. So, guys, don't worry. If you don't know what Messier objects are, I will tell you. So, Messier objects are a set of 110 astronomical objects, and these were discovered by a French astronomer called as Charles Messier. Basically, Charles Messier was interested in finding only comets. So he just created a list of all the objects which frustrated him to hunt for the comets. So he just made a catalog which contained many of these objects which were objecting him to find a comet, and that's how the story goes. And so this catalog which he made consists of many astronomical objects, like from the star clusters to galaxies to all the scattered nebulae, and all other small clusters of stars present in the sky. So all these astronomical objects together were known as the Messier objects. So I can tell you a few examples, like the Crab Nebula, Ptolemy clusters, the Lagoon Nebula, butterfly clusters, then the Wild Duck cluster. Then we have more nebulas like the Eagle Nebula, and we have many of the, and also all these clusters of stars and nebulae you will be available in many of the constellations which will be present in this night sky. So if you have the apps or like the things in your mobile phone, so it will be easier for you to locate these Messier objects, and trust me, it is the beautiful view ever. Like getting an opportunity to see all the 110 Messier objects in a single night. Yes, it's really ambitious prospect. So please don't miss out on this event, because it will be the best which you will see probably in the month of March. Maybe there are more best ones to come over. So just stay tuned till the end and listen to all of the podcasts of this month. Who knows, you might get to observe the most beautiful thing of the universe, or maybe you might discover any new object of the universe. I don't know, you might. So just keep exploring, and keep exploring. So, the best night for the Messier Marathon each year typically happens during the new moon between like March and early April, and this is majorly due to like the Earth's planetary position. And also in this year 2022, there are actually two opportunities for this observation. One will be around the new moon in March, and another will be around new moon around like April 1st. Also, I mentioned about a term called as Messier Marathon. So I would like to tell you something about Messier Marathon, because I think most of you might not be knowing, the new explorers will not be knowing about this thing, or even who knows, you might get a better information. Okay, so this idea of Messier marathon was usually developed by several astronomers in like the 1970s. And also in this marathon, as I said, you will be able to see all the 110 objects in a single night. Why is it called as a marathon? Is it like a race? You can say like that because it requires a proper planning and preparation and pacing to quickly move through over 100 deep space object in a single night. So it will take some of the expertise to look after all these objects, and as you'll see below, there are several key factors that will affect the success in completing this Messier marathon. So who are all ready to get into this marathon? So I will give some of the tips that you can follow to get all the space objects in your binoculars. So before you head out and start looking for the Messier objects around you, there are some very important things to keep in mind, and you have to plan accordingly. So, the first important thing is to make sure that you have the right equipment, because in order to complete the Messier marathon, you will need the right gear. And unfortunately, most of the Messier's deep space objects can't be seen with unaided eye. So, you will have to invest in binoculars or a telescope to see all the objects of the marathon. The next step is also a very important one, which is to find a right location. So it's the best to observe these things in the night sky because it is pitch dark, and all the objects will be shiny, and you will be able to focus to those things with your binoculars and telescope very easily, and you could locate all the objects easily. So darkness is critical because the success of the Messier marathon, and you need to find a location with as little light pollution as possible. Plus, also choose a night where the moon won't interfere with its own brightness. You have to keep this point also in mind because the moon's brightness could also affect the observation. Also, the reason reducing light pollution is critically important because you will be stargazing across the whole sky from like the horizon to zenith at as the night will pass. And if there is a lot of light pollution, it may interfere with your ability to observe the Messier objects, and this will interfere your marathon. So, if you want to run a proper marathon, plan to travel at least 2 hours away from the urban area so that you will be in a remote place where there will be much lesser light pollution, and ideally you can find a dark sky to explore these objects. Also, if you want to be a pro in this marathon and you just want to observe all of them, you need to have some knowledge, and you can just go to resources, and you can look for a guide for the marathon route in which you will get like a ultimate guide to how to actually observe this objects, and you will also have some star finder apps to locate each object, which will guide you there itself in the sky. So this will be very easier and quick to locate the objects. Also there is a proper order when where you have to observe like the objects. It's not like you will just randomly observe whatever objects are coming along your way. It's not like that. You have a right order which you have to follow. So all these things will be provided in a guide. I can recommend you a guide which is called as the Observing Guide to Messier Marathon, which is a handbook and a atlas. So you can just go through this guide and you will get all the information regarding the location of Messier objects in the Messier marathon. So these are some of the important points that you should remember while you will be observing these Messier objects. Of course, it is a beautiful one if you go through the proper guidance and follow all these points. And if you're tired by listening to these points itself, you just have to gear up as soon as possible, because you will have this observation in less days. Like, it is coming up right in few days, so you have less time. Just you have to start from now. If you're listening now, you have to start it right after the podcast ends. You have to start your preparation, and you have to look after all the guides so that you can be the master of this messier marathon. You can then just tell all your friends, and you can just uh, it will make you happy that you explored so many objects at a time in a single night. And the view will be wonderful for sure. It will be a memorable one. Okay, so coming down to March 6th, we have another spacecraft. This is a spacecraft which has made a major milestone in the history of space exploration. So, the first spacecraft which had orbited the dwarf planet Ceres, that is the Dawn spacecraft, was launched on March 6th. Sorry, on March 6th, Dawn spacecraft arrived at Ceres. So the Dawn spacecraft is a US spacecraft, and it is a solar electric propulsion spacecraft which generates electricity from the solar panels to ionize the xenon. The Dawn spacecraft was launched on 27th of September 2007, and it arrived first to the Vesta, which is the largest asteroid. It arrived on July 16, 2011, and it orbited Vesta for like a year, like September 5th, 2012, and then it left for Ceres, which is a dwarf planet. Then it arrived on Ceres on the March 6th, 2015, and then it ended its mission on November 1, 2018. So this was a major milestone in the space exploration, because it arrived on two objects. First one was the large asteroid, which is the Vesta, from where it gained some of the information which was very important for the research of asteroids. Then it brought back some samples which was then tested in laboratories, and many of the researches and experiments were conducted which gave out some amazing results, and which will help in the future explorations. And also, when it arrived on the dwarf planet Ceres, it again collected some samples, and this also leads to much more explorations in the future. And this will be like as I said, like, it will provide a lot of knowledge. It will give help to future explorers. So these were all the events that are happening in the first week of March, and some of the major historical events I shared with you. I hope you all gained much knowledge from this, and don't forget to check out the messier objects if you are a real space fan, and let me know how many objects you found out in the messier marathon. I hope you all like this podcast. Stay tuned for second week's events of March and another such space related podcast. I am your host Priyanka, and here I end the podcast. Godspeed.